Hey viewers, I've had multiple viewers ask for a video on how to disassemble and assemble a rear derailleur, and so that's what I'm going to be working on today. This is Shimano 105 road derailleur. It's RD-5600, which is a 10-speed derailleur. And so it's not a super old derailleur, though there are a couple models newer than this, but they all the more current road derailleurs come apart very similarly to this. So anyway, I figured this is a pretty good example. Older road derailleurs or mountain bike derailleurs may come apart slightly differently, but some parts are going to be very similar and some parts are going to be different. But so I may do some other videos with some different derailleurs. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to start off by removing this little back plate and these pulleys here. And there's like a little Allen screw here, and there's an Allen screw here. Sometimes they're both reach from the front. But so I'm going to use a small Allen head thing here. This is a 3mm on this one, but that also varies. So I'm going to unscrew this little screw here. And be careful when you're taking apart these. Take apart anything actually. Be careful not to lose any parts. So there's the screw there, and then I should be able to slide this pulley out. And when you're taking apart a rear derailleur, make note of the pulleys. On some of the older rear derailleurs, the two pulleys are identical, but then on a lot of the newer ones, the tension pulley and the guide pulley are different. So, and that's the case on this one, they're actually different. So then I'm going to remove this screw here. So that the back plate comes off, and then also kind of make note of how the back plate goes on there, because you don't want to have it installed the wrong way. So go ahead and put that aside. Then pull this pulley off, and then pull this screw out of here like this. And let me see, there's a little metal bushing that goes in there. But like this pulley here, it just says narrow on there, and this other pulley here says G pulley. So I'm going to set these aside like that. Okay, now I want to remove the remaining part of this cage here. And on this derailleur, there's a little 2mm screw in here. So this is like here on the bottom side here, there's like a little 2mm screw here. And this varies from, like older types of derailleurs have a different system than this, but a lot of the newer road derailleurs have this. And so you take a little 2mm hex wrench here and remove this little screw, and there's like a little pin there. Set that aside, and then carefully you want to kind of release a little bit of pressure on this, kind of pull this part out, and this is spring loaded, so you want to be real careful because you don't want, so kind of pull it out a little bit, release the pressure there, and then I can slide this out like that. And so now I have the spring here, and notice how the spring fat side is facing down and the narrow side is facing up. So I'm going to pull that aside there, and then there's this, and I think that little seal might come off there, but I'm going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to remove is this pivot bolt here, and that's being held on, there's a little clip back here, but I'm going to remove this little adjustment screw here first, because I need that out of the way. So I'm just using like a flat tip screwdriver, or Phillips head screwdriver I think will work in there too. And then put this aside. Now I want to remove this little clip here. I could pry this off, but I need to have it so that where I remove the clip here, I need to have it facing to this little opening here like this. So I'm just going to use a hex wrench here to turn the pivot screw and then that kind of turns back there like that. So now I align that so this is facing out like this, and this, it's spring loaded in here, so I want to be real careful because I don't want this thing to come flying apart. I don't want to lose any parts. So what I'm going to do is kind of wrap it in sort of a towel like this, so it'll kind of contain any parts if they come flying out. Then I can use a small flat tip screwdriver to pry this clip out like this. See, there's the clip there. There's this part here. There's like a little seal, and it kind of goes down in there like that. I can slide the pivot bolt out there like this, and I can pull this spring out like this. So when you put these things back together, you want to make sure that everything is aligned the same way. And it may vary from derailleur to derailleur, so that's why you want to take note of it, because it may be different than the way it is in this video. Okay, so this thing is coming apart now. And I got the barrel adjuster here, so I'm going to unscrew the barrel adjuster. Like this. And I'm going to set this aside here. And then there's like the little clamp screw. So I'm going to move this here like this. Then I got these little high-low screws. So the limiting screws here, so I can remove these here. And then pay attention to make sure that they're the same and they look like it. And I don't know if this, yeah, this little part here comes out. So this little part comes out here. So on this one, the low part is facing the little cable adjuster there, because there's a little L and an H on there. So the low actually faces to where the barrel adjuster goes in there. And so that's about as far as I can really take this thing apart. There's pins here that are all pressed in, so I can't really remove those, and I would need to remove those to remove this little spring part there. So anyway, I have this about as far as I can take it. Okay, I've cleaned up these parts, and now I'm ready to put it back together again, and I'm putting it back together pretty much in the same order I took it apart. So I've got this little part here, and there's the L and the H. So the L goes to closest to where the barrel adjuster goes, and then I'll start these screws in like this, and then screw them in. And I don't need to screw them in all the way, because when this is mounted, then these limiting screws are going to need to be readjusted anyway. But like that. Okay, so next is the barrel adjuster. The barrel adjuster consists of like three little parts here: a spring, a little metal part, and then a plastic part. So the spring just kind of goes right over this little threaded part like this, and then this slides into the opening end of this little plastic part here like this, so that you want to get these splines kind of aligned into this plastic part like that, so that the threaded part comes out like this. And so now I'm going to just screw this into here, get this kind of started like this, and then just tighten that on like this. And make sure you don't cross thread that. You want to make sure you don't cross any threads like that. So that's on there like that now. And then there's the cable clamp here. So I've got the screw and the little metal plate here, and so there's a little tab that sticks down. So the tab is going to go in. And so like here's the barrel adjuster here, so this is going to fit in. So the tab is going to be facing forward and down, and so then this little part here covers where the cable goes in like that. And I'll just tighten this on kind of like that for now. Okay, now I'm ready to remount the cage arm here. And I have the spring here. And as I pointed out before, there's a wide side and a narrow side. So the wide side is going to go down into the body here. And I want to put some grease on. I cleaned off most of the original grease. And I'm using a nice waterproof marine grease here. And so I want to get a nice coating of grease on here, like this. And so I'm going to slide the wide side down into the body, and there should be a hole down in the bottom, and I want this pin here to go into that hole, so I'm just going to rotate this around until it fits down in there, like that. And then next, I have this here. I'm going to put some grease onto here, on this part here. Okay, now to attach the arm to the body here, what I want to do is, this part's going to go in down through the spring there, and there's a little tab on the spring here, this little pin on the spring. That's going to go into one of these two holes up here. There's two holes, and I'm going to put it into the farthest, the right hole here, so the most clockwise hole. So this is going to go through that hole like this. And so what I'm going to do is slide this on here, slide the end of that pin into the hole, and make sure it's fully in there. And I don't want to push it all the way down on the body yet. I need to leave it a little away from the body, but I want this end of the pin engaged in this plate here, and I want the other end engaged down into the body there. And what I'm going to do is, as looking at the back of the derailleur here, I'm going to turn this arm clockwise, like this. And I need to leave this away from the body like this so that this arm will be able to pass by these parts here. And what I want to do is have, so there's like a little stop, like little pin here on the arm, and then there's like a little part here on the body. I want this to come past that little part. So I turn this clockwise, and then I can push this down. And so there, it's now past that part there like that. So now when that's past that and pushed against the body, now I can take that little pin here, drop this into the hole, and then using my 2mm little hex driver here, screw this in, tighten it down, and then that'll lock that arm down in there so it won't come out. So now I have tension on that plate like that. So that's all done now. Okay, now I'm ready to install the pivot bolt and spring into the derailleur. To do that, I'm going to use a vise and a 5mm Allen wrench. I'm going to clamp the wrench into the vise with this part of the wrench sticking up, and I want as much of that sticking up as I can get it, and clamp this in, clamp it in tight. And what I want to do is make sure that I have enough space here to pivot. So I'm going to take this bolt here, just sit it on top of the wrench like this, slide the derailleur on top of here, and I want to make sure I have enough room that I can spin the derailleur around the wrench like that without it hitting the vise. So I'm going to start off by placing this bolt right on there like that, leave it there. And I'm going to put a little bit of grease onto the bolt like this, so it's nice and lubricated, and then slide the vise or the derailleur down over the bolt like that. Okay, now I'm ready to insert the spring. There actually is a wide side and a narrow side of the spring. This is the wide side here. The end of the spring is the same diameter as the main body of the spring, and then this is the narrow side. The end of the spring here kind of curves in a little bit, so it's slightly smaller diameter than the rest of the spring there. So I want the wide side to go down. Now there's actually two holes down in the little cavity here. There's a little stop tab here, and we're going to be using that. There's a hole on this one right down below that, and then there's a hole farther away. I want to put this end of the spring in the hole that's farther away from this tab, and then these two springs, two pins are aligned here on the end, so that's pretty easy to keep track of. So I'm going to slide this, so this little pin is farther away there, and I'm going to put a little bit of grease onto here as well, into the spring there. So it's going to be looped up in there. So I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to feel that engage, the pin engage down in the hole of the cavity there. So now this little pin here is away from this tab there. There's a seal, and there's a part of the seal here that's going to fit down into the hole there. Then the flat top side's flat, so I'm going to slide that on there over the spring, get that seated down around there like that. And now there's this plate here. The tab here with the hole in it, that's going to face up. So there's another tab here that's going to face down. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be rotating this. So I want this tab and this tab to pass each other. So this tab is going to be sitting against this tab, but under spring tension. And then there's a hole here. So the end of the spring here is going to engage this hole there. So I'm going to slide this on here like this. Get the end of the spring engaged in that hole there like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a vise. I'm going to hold this tab here to keep this top plate from turning. And I have to angle it up because otherwise, as I push down, I don't want the wrench to be an obstacle for rotating this thing. So I'm going to kind of angle this up. Clamp this onto this here to keep this plate from turning, and I'm going to rotate the derailleur clockwise while holding this plate. And when these two tabs pass each other, then I can push this plate down like this. I'm holding this plate down. I can kind of rotate this derailleur and feel it under spring tension like that. Now I take this little clip here and slide this in through this little gap in the side here. Slide this down onto this bolt. Push it in so it locks into place. Like that. So now, holding the plate here, I can go like this and rotate this derailleur and feel it under spring tension. So now I can release the wrench from that plate like that. So now rotating this around. So now with this little screw here that I pulled out of here, this is the B screw. I'm going to screw this into this tab here. I want to make sure I don't cross thread it like that, and then screw this in. And screw it in about to where it was before. You'll need to adjust it later when you mount the derailleur. Okay, so now I have that all installed. Okay, now I'm ready to remount the pulleys here. I have the two pulleys, and here's this one has like a little metal lining on the inside here, and then this one doesn't. The one with the metal lining is generally the guide pulley. In fact, it says G pulley on there, and it's usually, often, a lot of times, just slightly thinner than the tension pulley. But then from here, what I'm going to use, I'm going to lubricate these with like Finish Line wet bike lubricant. It's a synthetic lubricant, and just put like a little bit of there's these two little bushings that go down in here. They're the same, and then these little metal plates, they're the same. So I'm just going to put just a little bit of lubricant just down around these little bushings here. And just a little bit here, like that. Put a little bit of oil there on the top there. And I can stick these plates on top. Flip it over like this. And there's already a little bit of oil up there. So I'll slide these little plates on there like this. And I'm going to start with the guide pulley. This one says, on this one it says G pulley. And these two screws on this one go in opposite directions. So this side's threaded down, and so I'm going to take the pulley, kind of line it up here with this, slide and see this is kind of like already tapered on the outside there for to seat the screw there, and take my wrench here and screw this into the back cage plate like this. And I'm not going to screw it in all, tighten it all the way, just want to hold it there. And so now I can take the other pulley here. I'm going to slide the screw up this way through there, slide the pulley onto this, slide this plate up into line like this, and then I can tighten this screw. And then I'm going to tighten this screw all the way down like this, flip this around, tighten this screw in like this. So that is how to disassemble and reassemble a rear derailleur. Other models of derailleur might be slightly different, but most of them will be roughly similar. Anyway, I hope you found that useful or interesting. If you did, please click like on my video. I always appreciate getting likes on my video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, click the big yellow subscribe button and you'll see new videos that come out. I'm always coming out with new videos and you'll see fun stuff. Love working on bikes. And I'm also over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there, like my page. I post a lot of stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.